romantic. Huh?
Hey, are you Chi-Chi?
Yes, I am.
Your dad sent me here. I'm supposed to help you find Master Roshi so we can borrow the band show fan. Well, hop onto my flying Nimbus, because we really should get going.
You mean I can actually ride on this thing without falling?
Well, sure, but you do have to have a pure heart.
So, if you're a part of the anime community, then you've likely already been informed of the tragic news that legendary mangaka Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, has passed away at the age of 68. This was so sudden, I'm sure no one saw it coming, and I just wasn't prepared for how this was going to hit me. Toriyama, for me, for people my age, and for my whole generation, pretty much, is ingrained in our daily lives, especially those of us who grew up with Toonami and anime. I mean, back in the early 2000s, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z was my religion. Like, there was no bigger fan of it than me. You wouldn't find anyone who was more of a hardcore fan than I was of Toriyama's work. And back then, if you were into anime, there was 3 things you knew for sure if you knew nothing else. Funimation and its logo, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball as a property, and the face of Akira Toriyama. Long before anime was ever really a thing in this country, you were able to put his face to the Dragon Ball franchise. And the guy was so jovial in everything that he did. All of his work. Every time you saw a picture of him, when you'd go and look him up on Google or see him in an article, he's always smiling, always laughing, always happy to be contributing to the world of art. And the fact that he's gone really, really hurts my heart. I can remember as a kid, December 99 was the last week of the year. We had just moved here from Georgia into Colorado Springs, and we had only been here for less than a week. We went to the rent-to-own center down the street, and my brother-in-law and my father got a TV for us. And one night that week, we hadn't even fully settled into our apartment yet. We were still packing or unpacking things. I was flipping through the channels at 7 p.m., and I reached Cartoon Network. And I had seen Cartoon Network before, of course, up to that point. But I had never seen anime, other than maybe Pokemon. And I stopped, and was fully mesmerized at what was in front of me on the screen. It was the episode of Dragon Ball Z where Gohan thinks that Frieza, in his second form, had killed Krillin. And he loses. No, I'm sorry. Not Frieza in his second form. Frieza in his final form. I'm getting the scenes mixed up. He fights Goku, and Gohan was out of commission for some time, and he comes to, and he thinks that Frieza killed Goku. And he has the same type of rage moment that he had in the pilot of the show with the situation with Raditz and Goku and Piccolo. That pretty much repeats itself, and he starts blasting Masenkos and Ki Blast at Frieza and completely throws him off guard, actually putting some damage on him. And I was like, what the hell is this? My little 7-year-old self had never seen anything like this. And I sat down glued to the TV, and my life changed fundamentally that day. I became not just the biggest Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball fan, but I became an anime fan that day. That shit was birthed into my life. From that day on, every penny I had was spent at the mall buying anime VHS tapes. Back when you had to pay $30 to $35 for 3 fucking episodes on a VHS tape. Outrageous how much money I spent from 2000 to 2005 during my grade school and early middle school years on anime VHS and later DVDs. I'd spend all my allowance all the money I made from doing yard work. I'd be at Suncoast, FYE, Sam Goody, Babbage's, what have you, in the mall, buying anime stuff. I had every Beckett, and I still do. I want to make this clear. Dragon Ball Z is not my favorite anime as of today, but it's still one of my favorites, and it's still a major part of my life. But back then, it was my favorite, and I had every Dragon Ball Z, Beckett magazine, poster, figure, VHS, card, any accessory, nonsensical accessories. I had a Dragon Ball Z clock, I had a watch, I had a chain, I had shirts, pants, backpack. I even had party favors. I had everything you could think of. There was Dragon Ball Z related. I had a bed set back when briefly Walmart was selling the DBZ bed sets during the Frieza saga. I can remember how crazy that was. The curtains, the pillow of Super Saiyan Goku. Those really were the days. And, you know, I still have a lot of that stuff now. Of course, now my priority as an adult is actually having the show on Blu-ray. But I do have figures. I still have all my magazines and my posters. I have some autographs, posters that my older sister bought for me in 6th grade with the voice actors who played in the English dub of Babidi and Pycon. And all these things are very dear to me. And although I wasn't too crazy about everything that happened in recent years with Dragon Ball Super, Toriyama was always a very important part of who I became as an adult. An important part of my childhood and my adulthood. And the fact that he's just gone out of nowhere right before we were supposed to get Dragon Ball Daima is... I'm still at a loss for words. No, like I said, this took everyone by storm and I wasn't prepared for this. This is not some type of editorial where I'm going to go deep into the life of Akira Toriyama or anything like that. I will be doing something like that in the future given the circumstances of what just happened with this recent event. But right now, I just wanted to make a video where anyone who has been touched by his work can come, talk and discuss among yourselves and with me, and just reminisce on our memories of Dragon Ball. If you're my age, if you're from my generation, you grew up with Toonami and Dragon Ball, I'd love to hear the impact that it had on your life, what it meant to you, what it means to you now, and I guess all I can really say is rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. You're loved by many, your work will be forever treasured, and we now know you're with King Kai in Otherworld. Rest in peace, sir.